Hey guys, so this story that I want to share with you is honestly something that I still get very emotional about. So please excuse me if I get emotional while I'm telling you guys this story, but I did want to share it in case someone who ends up watching these videos that I make could possibly find my experience either something that they can relate to or something that can help them feel not so alone. So, what I'm going to share with you, obviously, as you can tell by the title, is about the time when I almost died due to an ectopic pregnancy. Now, if you don't know what an ectopic pregnancy is, it is a pregnancy that takes place outside of the uterus, which is where it is supposed to happen. Instead of implanting in the uterus, my specific pregnancy implanted in the fallopian tube, which ended up with me having to have an emergency surgery to remove the ectopic pregnancy, and I will tell you more about that in a minute. So, before I ever got married, I was over at my boyfriend's house at the time, and it was a mess. We were eating dinner, and I just started having like really, really bad abdominal pain. And I couldn't figure out what it was. Like, it kind of felt similar to period cramps, but like on a more intense level. I'm not the type of person who has ever really had super bad period cramps. Occasionally I would get some period cramps, but nothing like on a major level. So this pain was something that I definitely knew should not have been happening. So I I was trying to like lay down on my boyfriend's bed, on the couch, on the futon. I was trying to like find a comfortable position because I think I was staying the weekend with him. Every once in a while I would do that. So I believe that was one of the times I was staying the weekend with him. Anyways, it got to the point where this pain was not going away. I had taken a couple of Tylenol, I think, hiccups, or ibuprofen, but nothing was helping, and it was actually getting more and more intense. So I told my boyfriend, I think we should probably go to the hospital just to be safe. So went to the ER, and they ended up doing a pregnancy test. I did not know I was pregnant at this time until they did the pregnancy test, and she was like, yeah, you're pregnant. We're going to have to do additional testing. And so initially I was really excited because, what person doesn't get excited, if they find out they're pregnant, unless it's like someone who definitely never wants to get pregnant, doesn't want kids, or it's someone who, doesn't want kids at the time. But it's not like my boyfriend and I had been not trying to have kids. It's not that we were trying to have kids, but we weren't trying not to, if that makes sense. So, once they told me that, they ran some other tests because I was having such bad abdominal pain. And, they said it's not a miscarriage, but you need to have emergency surgery. And I was thinking, oh my God, what's wrong with me? And I do have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, for those of you who don't know. So I'm like, oh my God, is it like an ovarian cyst that needs to be removed? What happened? And so I remember they told me that I needed to have emergency surgery or I could possibly bleed to death. And I was like freaking out because why would you say that? Like, I get that they have to say it, but why would you say that to somebody who, you just told that she was pregnant? Like, all I could think of was, I was going to lose my baby. And I didn't really grasp what was going on then because nobody had explained to me anything about like the ectopic pregnancy at that point. They actually didn't explain anything to me until I was like down, about to go into the operating room for the surgery, and like having me sign the consent forms and everything, that they told me that yes, I was pregnant, but they were going to have to remove the pregnancy because of the fact that it was an ectopic pregnancy, and they explained everything to me. And, you know, all I could think of was, all I've ever wanted to do is be a mom, and here's my chance, and it's getting ripped away from me. So that surgery was done as an emergency surgery. So I ended up staying in the hospital for a few days after, because they had to monitor like the levels of pregnancy hormone to make sure that they had, I guess, gotten it, for lack of a better, more appropriate term. I was absolutely emotionally crushed. It was awful to go through, because when they had told me I was pregnant, I got so excited, and it was an awful feeling. And all of this happened on Valentine's Day. My emergency surgery was on Valentine's Day, and it was awful. Like, I've never been able to look at Valentine's Day the same way since then. So it's just, it's super difficult to even think about now. But in that surgery, not only did they end up removing the pregnancy, but I also had like a huge cyst on one of my ovaries. So they ended up taking the whole fallopian tube on that one side because of the pregnancy being there. They removed the fallopian tube, and they also removed the ovary on that side. So I only have one ovary now, currently, ever since then, because obviously they removed the other one. Because there was a cyst on it, and I had told them, before the surgery that, anything that needed to be removed emergently was fine with me. So if you guys are wondering, like, I have had multiple miscarriages. I've brought this up in the past, and I've also had that ectopic pregnancy. And so it's very difficult for me. I do talk about, sometimes I will reference that I have kids. And when I say that, I mean the kids that I lost to either miscarriage, ectopic pregnancy, etc. And it's been a really hard road. And I just want you to know that if you are going through either a miscarriage or an ectopic pregnancy, or loss of a child, I just want you to know that you're not alone. It is very hard. And eventually it does get a little bit easier. I would not say that it goes like, super easy where you're going to be just super happy and you're not going to get emotionally upset or sad about it, because it still hurts. And this was, when this happened, it was over 10 years ago now, and I'm still tearing up right now, just, remembering. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Thank you for listening. Please, if you know somebody who's gone through something like this, just be there to support them. Don't tell them to get over it. That's probably the worst advice you could ever give somebody who's just lost a child, whether it's a child that hasn't been born yet, or whether it's, a child that has been born yet. It still hurts like hell. And it's hard to deal with. So anyways, thank you for listening. I hope you found this helpful to anybody who might be going through something similar. You're not alone. And if you need to talk, I'm here for you.